Alright, so this is the sway bar disconnect. Attaches from the sway bar to the axle. Some people will buy an aftermarket, what they call a sway bar disconnect, where right here in the center, these two pieces will disconnect, and there's usually just a little cotter pin, I believe, that hold them together. The reason for that is when you go off-road, the front axle allows it to flex way further than it is supposed to normally be. You wouldn't want to drive this on the highway, but when they're off-road and you want to disconnect them, you can get better traction and all. But I'm not worried about it. That's not something I really want to do. I want to just enjoy driving this on the road. I've had kind of enough fun off-roading. Maybe in the future, maybe I'll get back into it, but not right now. So anyway, this is just putting it back together. Put these little bushings in. And there is a bushing that goes through. I was able to push it through with the other. That's kind of tough. I might have to take a hammer and whack it a few times. Oh, there it goes. Alright, that's not bad. Probably be a good idea to push a little further in there and kind of split the difference. Also, it came with a washer and a nut here. These are the two here that will connect it here to the axle. Now this is, which is kind of neat, is this. I've replaced this once in the past, so these were not original. These actually broke. They separated. This piece here actually pulled out. It was still attached to the sway bar, but they added grease zerks, so that's pretty cool. All the other ones I've had or seen, they never had a grease zerk there, so that's kind of good to help it last a little bit longer. Matter of fact, these actually move a little bit. My other ones were totally stiff. So these are all Moog. So I've been pretty happy seeing the quality of the parts for Moog. They're pretty dang good. So let's go ahead and get this installed. I'm not tightening any of this stuff down until all the weight of the vehicle is on this front axle. That's when it's going to get tightened down. I'm going to take it back off. Try shoving it through that hole. Maybe that's how we did it. Yeah. Yes, there we go. Now we're thinking smarter. Now I have to go to a commercial break and wash my hands of all this garbage on me. Alright, so I've already done on the other side already. Next step is I'm going to start putting the new shocks on. But I'm really hoping, if I remember right, with the sway bar and all this on there, once it's all tight, it should hold the axle all up, I believe. Because I got to start on ball joints next. See you in a bit. RS 5000, I believe this is. Gosh, I'm already forgetting. 5000X. So the way this is set up is when you put this in the vehicle, you cut the little strap behind it, and this piece goes up and you catch it in the hole that you need to catch it into. So you buy the Rancho RS 5000X shocks. They come with lower bolts. Came with the bushings that go at the top, which is cool. Came with this boot, and it came with a zip tie. Now, one guy, let's see, I don't know where that was. I believe that was maybe it was an Amazon review, because that's where I bought these from, some manufacturer from Amazon, or maybe it came directly from Rancho, I'm not sure. He said this little strap here broke, and he actually put a hose clamp on it, which made it look quite nice. So we'll try this. If this breaks, I'll throw a hose clamp on it. I went out and grabbed it because I wanted to make sure I'm stacking these back up on top correctly. So it looks like I'm good. Alright, so I went ahead and tightened up these bolts. Well, I haven't really tightened them up, just kind of hand tight with a little wrench here. I put all this back on here. I've got the, you can see here, got this metal washer here, this here, and I'm going to basically kind of move this up. I'm going to cut this plastic piece here, my finger's on, with some dikes, and I'm going to let it kind of shoot up and aim for the hole up there. You can see, I aim for the hole, and once it goes through a hole, I'll throw I believe I'll throw this this rubber mount and then this washer's on top, and then I'll put another one. There is a torque spec for it. I don't remember. I got to look in the book again, and we will go from there. It's not really a big deal if you can't. You just kind of figure out a way to do it. Let's see. Come on now. There we go. And boom, we're back in the hole. We are good. And just get your dikes, cut this off. I believe that there is a little bit different here. I think I'm going to put this up and this one down, because I think the hole's probably big. This is probably going to recess inside the hole here, so we'll go like this. Put that there. Once I start torquing on it, it'll kind of line itself up in the hole. Plus the axle's all the way down. That's the other reason. Now, I didn't really show you, because I'm going too fast here. Maybe you can see when I take the camera. But on top of this here, where this nut is that I'm screwing on, there is a place for, I don't know if you can kind of see it, the very, very top here, you can put a little wrench here and you can hold this, because sometimes these do spin. But I've been pretty lucky with new shocks, they usually don't spin. But if you're taking them off, you might have to actually hold this. It's flat on each side. Hold it with a little wrench and unscrew this. Right here, there's an edge right there. And the boot that gets set up here on the top, let's see if you can see it. Right there, there is a lip. So that little lip there is where this piece here sits inside of it. So it's not like it goes above it. It actually sits down inside that little groove. Kind of see right there, that groove. So make sure you put that in correctly. The way the bolt was shaved on its side, now I'm not, there's no way for me to put this thing in I mean, there may be a way, but you take it for an alignment, they're going to put it on a computer and they can really get it absolutely perfect. I just remember whenever when I took this apart, the flat part of that bolt was facing pretty much sideways. So that's all I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to put it back to what I kind of remember it was at. I think I have some pictures of it on my phone somewhere. So that's all I'm trying to do. I'm going to run this nut down a little bit just to run it flush. I'm going to go back and torque it, but this is just to try and speed up the process. This washer here that's been pressed onto the bolt here, I just wanted to make sure this was seated really flat up against here. And now that I've driven this side, so now this washer here is kind of more up against the steel there. And a little bit more with the impact gun here. It's just seated a little bit more. This has got to be torqued, I believe, at 85 foot-pounds of torque for the lower to the axle. So now I'm going to grab the torque wrench. All the weight is on the front axle, even though I have the jack stand. Let me pivot it back. You can see it's really not even touching the frame. It's just sketchy on that side over there, where that jack stand is. It's not really in a good place. So that's why I had all these extra precautions. We'll make dang sure this thing doesn't come down on me. Yes, now we're at 85. All right. Still, I'm trying to do this and pull up. Eventually that wrench, well, I was thinking that wrench was going to turn, but the way the cam is, it's not going to turn. But it's there for safekeeping. It's so awkward. So awkward. Oh, cool. That went quick. I want to make sure this thing's on 130. Because that just seemed like it went too easy. Oh, of course, it's not on 130. Now you're really going to see me strain and grunt. Because it's supposed to be on 130, not 85. Here's the bite. Move forward. God almighty. All right, we got it. I want to go one more to make sure. Oh, come on. You don't need that. Messing up my vibe here. All right, now we're straight with that. I got to do the upper. The upper only calls for 55, so I'm going to grab my other torque wrench that's a little bit smaller and I can fit in there better. All right, it's a 15 millimeter. Let's see. I hope we're on it. Righty tighty, lefty loose. If you had a car lift, it would be so much easier. It's just such a weird angle to be doing this on. I know most people say that once you have it click, once you stop, but I don't know. I feel like I need to have it click a couple times, or maybe a few times, who knows. And from what I've always been told, you just want to tighten it until this, basically the rubber kind of starts to squish a little bit. And roll with it. Might actually look on the other side and make sure I'm kind of even. So I'm kind of thinking I cranked on it more than this side. So these are the torque specs for the front axle. You can see. So y'all can go back and use this as a reference. Manual calls for 250 foot-pounds of torque. I really like the torque things because I always have a tendency of over-tightening. So that's why I torque everything. Yeah, we are good. Book calls for 70 foot-pounds of torque. The on the upper part of here is the nut. It actually calls for 45 foot-pounds of torque up here. These two bolts here, which is, they call this the retainer. These two bolts here are set for 40 foot-pounds of torque. There we go.